Okay. Well, hello and good evening, everyone. I call this public meeting of the North Clackamas School Board dis- Let me back that up. I call this public meeting of the North Clackamas School District Board of Directors to order on Thursday, January 16th at 6:30 p.m. Thank you all so much for being here, for folks in the room and also for community and others who might be joining the live stream. Happy 2025. It's hard to believe that we are about 2 weeks into a brand new year. And just on behalf of the board, I'm wishing everyone a joyous new year ahead. We have a lot of great work ahead of us to do as a district and as a board. And I am just so grateful to be surrounded by just a wonderful, supportive community who really cares about public education and for each and every one of our children. So it's an honor to be here. It's an honor to open up this board meeting with you all. And with that, we are going to get started. So I would first and foremost like to remind our community that the purpose of our board meetings is to conduct the business of the district first, and for everyone to learn about the district in a safe and productive manner. There are no community members who have signed up to provide comments tonight, so we will go ahead and move on to the native land acknowledgement. Vice Chair Benaloga will lead the acknowledgement this evening.
We acknowledge the land on which we sit and which we call the North Clackamas School District rests on the traditional and indigenous lands and village sites of the native peoples of the Kalapuya, Chinook, Molalla, and the Clackamas. We take this opportunity to offer gratitude for the ability to learn, work, and be a community on this land. And we offer thanks to the original caretakers of this region. We recognize the historic policies of colonization, genocide, relocation, and assimilation that affected Indigenous and Native families, both past and present, and that will affect those in the future. And we honor the resilience and revitalization of our Indigenous and Native communities. We pay our respects to the elders, both past and present, who have been the stewards of this land throughout the generations.
Thank you. Now we will move on to our flag salute. Please rise, and Director Dobson will lead the Pledge of Allegiance tonight.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. In the board packet, you will find the minutes of the December 12th, 2024 board meeting of the North Clackamas School District Board of Directors. Is there a motion to approve the minutes? Yes.
Chairway, I move to approve the minutes from the December 12th, 2024 meeting.
Okay, thank you. Is there a second?
Dobson, second.
Okay. Properly moved by Director Bauer and seconded by Director Dobson. Is there a discussion? Okay, seeing none, I call for a vote on the motion. I also want to acknowledge there are a couple of directors who are joining us via phone. So all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Great.
Aye.
Okay. All those that oppose, please say no. Okay, and I'm not sure if Director Wachter is on. Okay. So the motion passes with a vote of 6-0. Okay, thank you, board. Next, in the board packet, you will find the consent agenda for this evening's meeting. The items on the consent agenda are employment changes, middle school schedule adjustment to meet Division 22 requirements for physical education minutes, policy revisions, and we have 4 travel requests, which I will read in the record. The Milwaukee High School Baseball, Adrian C. Nelson High School Band and Orchestra, Rex Putnam High School A Cappella and Vocal Point, and Clackamas High School Girls Softball. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda? And please read all of the items included.
Chair, I move board approval of the consent agenda of employment changes, middle school schedule adjustment to meet Division 22 requirements for physical education minutes, policy revisions, 4 travel requests, including Milwaukee High School Baseball, Adrian C. Nelson High School Band and Orchestra, Rex Putnam High School A Cappella and Vocal Point, and Clackamas High School Girls Softball.
Is there a second?
Chairway, Bauer.
Okay. Is there a discussion? Okay, the motion's been properly moved by Vice Chair Benaloga and seconded by Director Bauer. I now call for a vote on the motion. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 All those that oppose, please say no. Okay, and the motion passes with a vote of 6-0. Okay, thank you so much, board. Next on the agenda is School Board Recognition Month, and I would like to now welcome Superintendent Shay James.
Thank you. So the Oregon School Board Association has set aside the month of January to honor the unpaid elected volunteers who serve on Oregon's 197 local school boards, 19 education service districts, and 19 community school boards. This month, our staff officially thanks you for your service. We are grateful and honored that you represent our school district as board members throughout the year. You all come from diverse backgrounds and bring various unique perspectives while working collectively to oversee the school district's business. Chair Way, thank you for always keeping students' voice front and center. Your ability to always maintain an equity lens in everything we do and a positive can-do attitude that propels our staff forward when the work is hard. Thank you. Vice Chair Benaloga, thank you for always reminding us of the joy in learning that keeps children's heart at the center of the work. Your ability to maintain the importance of visual and performing arts as a mirror to athletics, and your skill to ask the hard questions in a manner that pushes us to be better on behalf of students. Thank you. Director Dobson, thank you for your care for all students across our system. You push against the grain and the system even when it's not the popular thing to do, but it's the right thing to do. And you lean into the understanding of the academic trajectories for the benefits of all of our students. Thank you. And Director Kemp, who is online, I believe, thank you for always keeping safety at the forefront of our school district for staff and students. Your genuine curiosity and questions around the data pushes us to be better, and your dedication and commitment to our district, whether you're in or out of town, is noticed and valued. Thank you. And Director Wachter, thank you for always supporting us and finding the middle ground to keep the hard work going. You're a bridge builder and a problem solver at heart, and that carries over to our school district as we tackle many challenging issues, and we appreciate the collaboration and unique solutions you bring to the table. Thank you. And Director McVeigh, thank you for carrying the torch as the longest-serving board director at NCSD. Your ability to see the details and nuances of particular situations at the right time and surface them to propel us forward or get the job done is appreciated. And your ability to speak on behalf of our community, even when it's not the popular voice at the table, is more than commendable. Thank you for always being a voice to see multiple perspectives. Thank you. And Director Bauer, thank you for your passion for our students, our staff, and our community and our district. Your organization at the state and the local level are matched by few. You are not afraid to tackle the hard work, and we appreciate your attention to detail, the budget work, and we even smile when you catch our mistakes at times, and we are grateful for those moments. Thank you. I wanted to take a second to highlight a few of the things that stand out about each of you individually when we think of the leadership in our district. And truly, I could go on and on regarding the unique skills each of you bring as board members, but we don't have time for that. So I will simply say thank you, and I want you to know that we are truly better because of each and every one of you. And our staff that are sitting here tonight has asked me to thank you personally for the many hours you spend volunteering to serve our students, our staff, our families, and our community. Our community should know that serving on a school board requires so much more than attending board meetings. You spend countless hours advocating on behalf of our students with legislation, budget, bond oversight, committee meetings, in addition to the many, many hours reading emails, many of them from me, public comments, board packets, and large volumes of documents and articles that are sent to you, and so much more. As a staff, we are fortunate to have each of you representing and serving our school district. Thank you for taking time to read every communication sent to you, every event, every meeting, every phone call you attend on our behalf. It's important to note this is all done with no pay and outside of each of your jobs and your families. So thank you. And at this time, we have a video to play for you.
Hey, check out where we are today. We are at Safe and Schellenberg in the culinary classroom. Check out all the stuff that's being prepared back here. We're going to check it out right now and find out who in the world are they making this for. Tell me a little bit about what you're making here.
We're making hash browns right now. They just let it cook for a little bit so it's nice and crispy or however you like it.
How do you know when to flip them?
It's kind of just a gut feeling.
Okay. Wow, that looks pretty good. Hey, you think I can get a taste of that when you guys are all done?
It's for someone special.
No, not for me. That's right, not for me. Going over here, tell me what you're doing here.
Right now I'm currently breading this chicken. I'm doing a couple different layers to make it crispy afterwards.
Hand-breaded chicken. And then from here it goes to be baked or fried.
It's going to be fried.
It's going to be fried from here. Hey, do you think I could have some when you're all done?
Nope, it's for someone special.
So what do we got going on here?
This is the breading for the chicken that's marinated.
Oh, okay, you're marinating some chicken in here. So you're making the breading for here.
Mm-hmm.
Now what's the story with the biscuits? You already cooked those?
Yeah.
Did you guys make those from scratch? Paxton, you made those?
Oh, yeah.
From scratch?
Yep.
Hey, do you guys mind if I have a taste of one of these? They look pretty good.
Absolutely not.
Sorry.
Absolutely not.
They're for someone else.
That's right, that's the theme I'm hearing.
Denied.
And here, we got something frying up. Now, did you make the spicy glaze too?
Yes. Yes, we did, but we haven't put it on yet.
Oh, you haven't put it on yet? Okay, so looks like you're oiling up the pan. Hey, when this is all done, you think I can have a taste of this? This looks really good.
No, it's for someone special.
Mr. Kepke, we got quite a meal going on here. Now, I've heard you've been requested to make a very special meal for a very special occasion. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we've been lucky enough to be a part of this. Well, I've been lucky enough to be a part of the school district for 21 years. And so we're going to do a nice, I think, surprise dinner. I will tell you, in that 21 years, we've never done that here. So we're super excited. These kids, anytime they get an opportunity to cater, anytime they get an opportunity to do something for the community, really important for us. We're excited.
So what's going into this meal that we know of so far?
We know we're going to do a 4-course meal. So we want to go ahead and have an appetizer, a salad, probably an entree, and a dessert. And we really want their input on what we're doing. So in the process of teaching the skill set of the cooking method, we started to discover which way we want to go. So it's kind of in flux.
Okay.
We're figuring it out. We're getting there. Every day we're getting closer.
What to say about these kids who take so much interest in what they're doing here, and they really take pride in what they're doing?
Yeah, no, it's incredible. We're very lucky. Again, at 21 years I've been teaching here, and this is the reason why I still teach at is that we have this ability to give something that I love to do to them, and then, to get them in chef coats and to show up professionally every day and do the work every day. It's really, really invigorating. It's incredibly cool to see their creativity. Fire and knives are always fun for everybody under those controlled situations. So yeah, it's great.
Now I imagine the people who this meal meals being served for. They're going to be amazed by the quality of it. I can tell you're someone who really loves coming to work each night. What do you love most about your job?
Got this right here, actually. I think this is, we just came back from a break, and to be able to come back from a break 2 weeks later, be really happy to go back to work, that's a really unique thing, and it's a really wonderful thing. And knowing that we're going to come back in and you walk into a classroom where kids are engaged in what they're doing, it makes your job amazing. So knowing them get to come back in, teaching them this skill set that regardless of whether they do this in the real world as a job, doesn't matter. This skill set is something they're going to use for the rest of their lives. So.
Let's get back to advising these students a very special meal being prepared. Who is it for? Well, we'll have to find out here in just a few moments. All right, you guys, you wouldn't let me taste any of this stuff. Who in the world are you making this for that's so important?
We're making this for the school board.
Oh, School Board Appreciation Month. Happy School Board Appreciation Month to our North Clackamas School Board members. This is for you.
We have some pretty awesome kids, as you know and as you see. So as you see, we would like to honor you at a dinner that will be hosted by our students in the culinary program at Sabin Schellenberg Technical Center. And all of our staff here looks forward to being with you and breaking bread with you to say thank you for the many hours and all of the things that you do for our school district and the time that you spend with us, making us better. So in addition to that, tonight I'm joined by our Chief of Staff, Tiffany Shireman, and our Assistant Superintendent of Education, Dr. Yvonne Dibley, to read the School Board Recognition Month proclamation in North Clackamas School District.
Thank you. School Board Recognition Month. Whereas school boards create a vision for what students should know and be able to do, whereas school boards establish clear standards for student performance, whereas school boards ensure that student assessments are tied to established learning standards, whereas school boards are accountable to the community for operating schools that support student achievement.
Whereas school boards align school district resources to ensure that students meet standards. Whereas school boards create a climate that supports the philosophy that all children can learn at high levels. Whereas school boards build collaborative relationships based on trust, teamwork, and shared accountability. And
whereas school boards are committed to continuous education and training on issues related to student achievement. Now, therefore, I hereby declare my appreciation to the members of North Clackamas School Board and proclaim the month of January to be School Board Recognition Month. And I urge the community to join me in recognizing the dedication and the hard work of the local school board members in preparing today's students of tomorrow's world. So I just want to say thank you on behalf of our entire staff. So thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Superintendent James and others, just for the recognition. Really hard to follow the culinary students and their amazing meal that they're preparing. So again, just thank you so much for the kind and lovely words. I just, I know for all of us, we're here because we care about our students. We care about kids in our community and kids in our state and in our world. And so I mentioned this during the invocation ceremony at the beginning of the school year, but it's always important to remember our why and our whys for why we're all in the seats that we're in. So thank you again for reminding me of my why and why I want to volunteer and serve on this board with many of you all. Thank you. So now we are going to move forward with our next agenda item. And this is also just a really special recognition and a really important proclamation to honor Black and African American History Month this month. So we are going to have each of our directors take turns reading the proclamation. And Director Benalogo will start first.
Whereas each year the United States observes Black African American History Month by celebrating the culture, heritage, and countless contributions of Black African Americans to our nation's history and identity. And
Whereas Black African American History Month grew out of the establishment in 1926 of Negro History Week by Carter G. Woodson and the Associate of the Study of African American Life and History. And
whereas the 2025 national theme for the observance is African Americans and Labor. And
whereas the North Clackamas School District is deeply committed to equity and inclusion. This stance includes the cultural and racial affirmation of our students, staff, parents, and community members who identify as Black African American. And
whereas our community is better because of the diversity of our population. And
whereas the North Clackamas School District strives to close the equity and outcome gaps for Black African American students through policies and practices that reflect the experiences of Black African American students, ensure greater access and opportunity, and honor history, heritage, and contributions.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the proclamation?
McVeigh, motion to approve.
Okay. Is there a second?
Bauer, second.
Okay. And is there a discussion? So for discussion, we actually have a couple of remarks that have been prepared by Director Wachter, and I wanted to go ahead and read them into the record since he is unable to do so. So just want to again appreciate Director Wachter for putting this together and his reflections. So the 2025 theme for Black African American History Month, African Americans in Labor, really resonates because it's tied so closely to what matters for our schools, community, and state. Black Americans have played an essential role in building this country, from their labor during slavery to their leadership in labor movements and beyond. Yet they've also faced systemic barriers like wage gaps and limited opportunities, challenges that still exist today. In Clackamas County and across Oregon, acknowledging this history is especially important. Oregon's past includes exclusionary policies that sought to limit Black settlement and participation in civic life, creating a legacy of inequity. Recognizing this helps us take responsibility for building a more welcoming, inclusive state where all students and families feel they belong and can thrive. In our schools, this theme highlights how education creates pathways to opportunity. By celebrating the contributions of Black workers, we can show North Clackamas's Black students that they themselves belong and that their voices and efforts matter to us. It's about helping them see themselves as leaders and contributors to the future while addressing the equity gaps that hold too many back. Honoring the labor of Black Americans isn't just about the past. It's about inspiring all of us to keep pushing for a more just and inclusive future. And because we have a motion that has been properly moved by Director McVeigh and seconded by, is it Director Bauer? Thank you. I will now call a vote on the motion. So all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All that, okay. And all that opposed, please say no. And the motion passes with a vote of 6-0. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the North Clackamas School District hereby proclaims the month of February 2025 as Black African American History Month in the North Clackamas School District and encourages all residents to honor Black African American Black African American history and culture, adopted this 16th day of January 2025. Okay, thank you so much, board. Okay, we are going to move to the next agenda item for this evening, and that is the Clackamas Education Service District Local Service Plan. That is long. And I would like to now welcome Superintendent Shay James, who will introduce our esteemed guests.
Yes, so many of you know that we have a long-standing partnership with the Clackamas Education Service District, and I would just say we are so grateful for your partnership on behalf of our staff and our students and the services that we get from you. And many of you know in this room that they gather 10 superintendents together monthly from 10 districts around our county together, and we all support one another on a monthly basis. But we look at our local service plan on a yearly basis, often multiple times, and it's what guides the work that we do as school districts. And so today we're going to discuss that here with you all so that you know what that is. And we have Superintendent Larry Didway and Board Chair Linda Brown, Board Member Wade Byers, and Board Member Lynn Mills. And normally I would let Superintendent Didway introduce them, but I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you for your service and the time that you give as board members as well at the Clackamas ESD. So thank you. Turn it over to you.
Do we have that? Oh, there we go. All right. Well, thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. James. As she said, I'm Larry Didway, Superintendent for Clackamas ESD, and we are really pleased to be here this evening with you. And we also value the partnership with this district and all of your community. It is our annual meeting when we come to share and talk with you about our local service plan for the coming year that's designed to serve all 10 of the school districts in our county. And we have provided you with a hard copy of that, as well as a number of other pieces of material that I'll talk about in a moment. But before I do want to express also some appreciation to a few folks here, beginning with Dr. James. Shay is a valued member of that regional superintendent's group that she mentioned, and we meet regularly to share information and collaborate on shared challenges. But Shay is valued as a thought partner and widely respected as a leader, and I'm really happy to have her a part of that group. We also want to say thank you to you, Gina Benaloga, Director Benaloga, for serving on the Clackamas ESD Budget Committee last year, and we are very much hoping that you will continue in that role in 2025, and we very much appreciate your service. We also want to call out Jen Burkhart, who has been a valued collaborator with our ESD early learning program, and that's been since she joined the district. She has supported efforts to ensure young learners have access to early learning programs, transportation, meals, and recently she assumed a new role as Associate Director of Pre-K 12 literacy, and now she's helping our early learning educators enhance early literacy practices with a focus on writing, and we really appreciate her work as well. We also want to call out someone we saw just recently on the screen, communications leader Curtis Long, and the whole team at Sabin Schellenberg and their principal, Ajay Huja, for helping us create a meaningful celebration last fall for our 24-25 Regional Teacher of the Year, Robert Parker. And he was selected from a record number of nominations and applications regionally and statewide. And we appreciate their support as well. And last but not least, we want to mention in your local service plan on pages 10 and 11, and that plan is this one here. There are a number of other North Clackamas School District professionals who meet regularly with their regional colleagues in advisory groups, and those are facilitated by the ESD, and we sincerely appreciate their commitment to collaboration and the work that they do with their peers from across the county. Of course, I also would be remiss not to mention that it is Board Appreciation Month, and it was great to sit in on the earlier celebration. And I would echo all of the words that you already heard from your own staff. But we are also grateful for your leadership and your dedication, and very cognizant of the gift that you provide with your time, your expertise, and talents. And you do that on behalf of the youth of this community and public education in general, and not just in January, but all year long. And we sincerely thank you as well. We did bring a set of note cards from our most recent Clackamas ESD Regional Art Show that features student artwork on those as a token of our appreciation. So a few things about that local service plan again, and a little bit about how we create it. It is required by the state. It covers all of our services that we are providing to the local school districts in the coming fiscal year. Our district advisory groups provide input on that plan development, and then that goes to our regional superintendents, and who also deliberate on it, and then our ESD board approves that before it comes to you. And it is here in front of you tonight for your approval. It does reflect a productive partnership between Clackamas ESD and all of our school districts that we serve. It's a review of our services, beginning with resolution services, and those are the services that are offered and paid for by all districts. Those include areas of special education, technology, data support, teaching and learning support, as well as direct revenue that comes back to you that can be applied to ESD services of your choice. It also outlines contract and grant services, and those are things paid for by multiple state and federal resources, or sometimes directly by districts that are requesting them. And those include the areas of early learning and student support services, and then many special education, technology, and teaching and learning services. Again, this has been approved by our Clackamas Chief Administrators Council, which includes all 10 of our superintendents and the president of Clackamas Community College. And it has been approved by our board of directors, and it's here for you to review and provide approval this evening. There are two other documents that I want to talk about tonight, beginning with this fiscal year review document that looks like this that you have. And that's just a detailed report. I just held up the wrong district. That was bad form. And that's a detailed report for your district that indicates the overall value of services delivered by your Clackamas ESD and highlights some of the key services that we've made available. And your print packet, board members, should include a copy for each of the other 9 school districts as well for your reference. But for North Clackamas, I want to highlight a couple things. It does reflect more than $20.6 million worth of value of total services over the last year, and that's an increase of about $1.2 million from the previous year. It also includes nearly $4.2 million in revenue that was funneled directly to you. That's up about $100,000 from the previous year. And it includes our partnerships in early learning services and support, free preschool program, improving staff support on a range of topics from trauma-informed practices to interrupting bias, supporting school nurses and counselors, helping address students' mental health and behavioral health needs, providing special education services to students with very complex needs, providing a range of data and technology support, and supporting improvements and enhancements to curriculum and instruction in diverse areas like literacy, math, STEM, and CTE. We hope that the format of that report is helpful to you and gives more context to the ways North Clackamas School District and the ESD partner. But we would really welcome your feedback about how we can make that report even more useful to you in the future. And then we also included our annual report, and it looks like this, titled All In. And that's just an annual report just for your information. It covers roughly a 1-year period from the fall of 23 through the fall of 24. Uses data and storytelling just to give you a little more information about what the ESD does and the impact that we have in our region. And I would particularly call your attention to pages 32 and 33 of that report that include a feature on your Regional Teacher of the Year, Robert Parker. And we were honored to be able to be a part of that recognition. We also hope that report is helpful to you and useful to you. And if you have any information that you would like to see included in future reports or feedback, we would welcome that as well. Then I tucked in a couple other items too that I want to address. One of those is a little save the date, and we are offering a public meetings law training for board members at Clackamas CSD on the 28th of January. And so it's still not too late to register if you have not already. That public meeting law will meet or fulfill the requirement by law for all elected board members to complete that during your term. And so if you're interested and available to join us, we would welcome you. And then I would also call out, I included this flyer that we used at our recent legislative breakfast that we hosted. And this reflects legislative priorities that were that reflect the consensus of our 10 school superintendents to talk about our legislative priorities for this coming session. And I thought you might find it, if you didn't get to attend or haven't seen this, you might find it helpful to see. And if you would like multiple copies of that, we are happy to provide those to you too, as you are talking with your friends, especially those friends that might be serving in the legislature. Not to, point out anybody in the room. So that's all I have for you this evening, and I'll stop there and see if you have any questions that I can address.
Thank you so much, Superintendent Didway. And I also want to just appreciate some of the board members behind you from the Clackamas Education Service District. Thank you so much for being here, and also for your countless hours and your service that you've put into all of the communities that are in our county. So thank you so much. I know that we received this wonderful folder and packet of information, and I know that we're combing through it. We're digesting all of the information. So we do. There is a couple of questions that our board members would like to ask, and I know that there are two on the phone as well. So just wanted to see if there are board members who'd like to get things started. Director Bauer always has a couple.
Yeah, well, I wanted to thank you too for your service, board members, and your leadership, Superintendent, because you're out there. I see you around a lot. And thank you for giving us permission to use this, because I already did. I wasn't sure who made it. I thought it was OSBA, and they said, no, I think it's your ESD. So I did use it last night, and I've been handing it out to some people. So thank you for that. But I also wanted to highlight that you are always evolving, and you should feel so good about the work you're doing. And, you give us all of these necessary and essential services, but you have this Clackamas Early Learning Center and the preschool and the screening center that are so essential, and it's just beautiful. But thank you for seeing that need, acknowledging it, and it's there. So I just wanted to highlight that too. I visited it when it was just an idea. I think Director Benaloga was there too. And then I saw the result, and it was great. Thank you for always hosting too. You host the regional, and then the legislative forum. That was great. And thank you for all the work that you put into that. And I know that's really hard work, getting those people together. Love the artwork. And I just had one question. That early identification is so important for parents. I have nephews and nieces that are having kids, and they, are not always aware of that, or, and they're so grateful that they were connected. I just mentioned it when there was a need. How are they connected? How do you connect with people and families in need? Is it through
for early intervention? That's a part of Child Find. And so we work with multiple places for that, to get those referrals. Those come from everything from physicians to other kinds of medical providers, social workers, educators, neighbors, friends. They come from multiple sources.
Okay, great. Thank you. Yeah. Thanks for all your hard work. And I know some of your board members, it's been years, that they have been serving. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Other questions or comments from board members? I do have, yes, Vice Chair.
And thank you all so much. Thank you, Superintendent, and thank you to your board members. It's definitely a labor of love to work with the Clackamas ESD, and we appreciate everything you do for not only for North Clackamas, but for all of the students that you're able to serve. I do kind of want to piggyback a little bit, and I know we've discussed this in the past. As far as reaching out to daycare providers, especially those that are in-home providers, what outreach or how are you working to educate and to bring more providers so that they're able to send those students to you earlier to be early identified?
Right. One of the fortunate things is we also carry the state contract for child care resource and referral for our area. And so we have direct connection and service to our private providers all around our region. We provide professional development and numerous opportunities to convene, as well as resources for them to take advantage of in their own practice. And then, of course, a part of that is educating on how to notice and report and refer families when they are in need of additional support.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's such a big piece of that early intervention and helping in-home providers understand, and maybe even just having someone to call to ask a question.
Yeah.
Being an in-home provider and running a preschool for many, many years, I called ESD often, but I know that there were providers at the time that didn't know and didn't know how to access those resources. So thank you so much for making that a priority. It is so important to early identify and to honestly to get families the support that they need when they're truly, truly struggling. It matters so much to the success of those families and then to the success of that student once they actually are in public education. So thank you so much for all of the work that you're doing.
Yeah, the early intervention is key to the trajectory of that student, for sure. Thank you.
Dr. Dobson?
Thank you so much, Superintendent Didway. This is amazing. And I love this day. I love the package. I love the artwork. I love the cards. I love the shiny one sheets with all of the information about how well everything is going. And I don't know, just makes us feel, I think, really good about all of the work that everybody's doing. But as Dr. James pointed out in her thank you to me earlier, I'm the pain and I ask hard questions that not everybody always wants to hear. And my question for you is, what are you struggling with? What is the biggest challenge facing the Clackamas ESD over the next 5 years?
Yeah, I really appreciate that you gave me an opportunity to share that because it very much has to do with some of the questions you just asked. I'm very well aware, as you are, that we've got a lot of our school districts are facing significant budget challenges. And the ESD is not an exception to that. Ours is different, though. And the one that I'm most concerned about today happens to be in early intervention and early childhood special education, which is not a part of the state school fund. It's a separate funding stream, and it comes directly to the 9 providers in the state for that service. This is a federally required, it's a civil right of these children to be able to access their services and be best prepared for entering into the K-12 system. And we are one of those 9 providers, and that fund was woefully underfunded this particular biennium. And in the governor's proposed budget, it continues to be underfunded, to the point where some of those providers are seriously considering not accepting the contract because they simply can't meet the federal requirement of the service. So we are heavily advocating for adequate funding for that program because we know that that is the upstream piece to the whole conversation about special education needs in our education system. And we know that we can have an impact on that trajectory of not only those children's lives, but also for school districts and being able to streamline and be better able and equipped to serve the students when they arrive at their door. On that flyer that I shared with you, one of the key legislative priorities, if you look on the back sheet, the back side of that, is early childhood intervention and early childhood special education, rather, and early intervention. And that is a key priority for us. Thank you.
Thank you again so much. And also for just, expressing your needs here. And as we move forward with session, this handout is incredibly helpful for us. I know that our PCLA, which is our Parent Community Leadership Alliance, we also have our legislative agenda. And so I know Director Bauer, Vice Chair Benaloga, they always go down with a full force of our community. And so we'll absolutely be advocating for all of our students so that they get the full funding that we need. I have a question, and this is more around some of the pieces around the professional learning that you all continue to do a really great job with our educators. And so can you tell me a little bit more about what might be something different that you are proposing or changing in the next year's service plan, just in terms of practices or curriculum, or even just additional challenges that you may be seeing from educators and this workforce across our different districts?
Yeah, there are a couple things I'd call out. One is I think you are aware that of Multnomah Clackamas Regional Educator Network. That is one of the networks in the state. Ours happens to be a collaborative between Multnomah ESD and Clackamas ESD, and we co-sponsor that network or educator network. And some of the focus of that professional development is very much toward educator workforce both development in terms of providing pathways for entering into the profession, but also once you are a new educator, providing adequate support for you as that new educator. And that's both for a licensed staff member and for principals as well. So those are some newer pieces. The other thing, of course, is literacy. And we have a proposal that we are with ODE that we're advocating for ESDs to be able to provide additional service and support to school districts as they are accessing funding for their literacy grant. This last round, that wasn't something that ESDs were actually a part of, although we did play a shoulder-to-shoulder role with many of our school districts. We would like to be able to play a more active role in providing professional development and support for early literacy efforts.
Great, thank you. And I really like the focus attention that you're having on early childhood education. I think that is, I mean, you've always done that, but to continue to call that out and say, we need stable funding, we need additional funding for our earliest, youngest learners in our state, really sets them up for success as they enter kindergarten. And so, thank you. Yes, and Director Dobson.
I'd love to see that proposal that you sent to ODE, if that's possible.
Sure, absolutely.
Share it with my office.
Great. Well, I just wanted to see if there are any other comments or questions from other board members joining on phone, maybe going once, twice. Well, thank you again so much for being here. This was a discussion item for our board this evening, and we will be voting on the plan next board meeting in February. So thank you again for being here and presenting all this information and answering all of our questions.
Yeah, and again, we value the partnership very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, next up on our agenda is our 2023-2024 District Financial Audit. And I would like to now welcome our Executive Director of Finance and Business Services, Matt Macara, who will also be introducing our guest.
Thank you. Tonight, I am pleased to present the Annual Comprehensive Financial Report, or also known as ACFR, for North Clackamas Schools for the fiscal year ended June 30, 2024. I'm joined by Connor Delaney here on behalf of Polly Rogers and Co., who performed this audit. Before I go further, I'd like to acknowledge and thank the hard work of our business services team, and especially Donna Burke and the accounting team of Ivan Aguilar Dominguez, Sarah Bailey, and Casey Schroeder for all of their efforts to complete the audit successfully and on time. Our ACFR last year received the Certificate of Excellence in Financial Reporting from the Association of School Business Officials, or ASBO. We will be applying for that award again this year, as well as a similar award from the Governmental Finance Officers Association, GFOA. We had a successful audit this year. We received an unmodified opinion from our auditors. The district was in compliance with governmental auditing standards as required by state regulation. The district was also in compliance with federal regulations. As noted in the report to the Board of Directors from the audit firm, all significant transactions have been recognized in the proper periods. There were no corrected or uncorrected misstatements during the audit, and there are no disagreements between management and our auditors. I would be happy to answer any questions, should there be any.
Thank you. It sounds like it was a well done, clean audit. So I don't have, congratulations again. Thank you so much. I know that takes a lot of work from our finance department to just get everything in order for the independent auditor to look at everything and get things in a timely manner. So thank you again, Matt, for your team's work. And also welcome our guest. I didn't know if you wanted to comment or say anything about the audit itself.
Sure, yeah. I would just like to also echo what Matt said. Just thank everyone in the business services. Everyone's been really great to work with the whole time. The information's always really well organized, and they get it to us in a timely fashion. So it really helps. And just thanks everyone again.
Thank you, Connor.
Great. Okay. Well, thank you again so much for being here. Appreciate the work and appreciate the findings of the audit. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we are going to move on to our next agenda item, which is our charter school renewal requests. This is a discussion item this evening, and I would like to welcome our Chief of Staff, Tiffany Sharman, who will also introduce a wonderful panel of guests. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you, guys.
Oh, good. Yes, good evening.
Nobody ever does this, do they? I'm sure.
I'll start us. Good evening. Good evening, all. Great. Board Chair, Board of Directors, good evening. It's my pleasure to be here this evening. I am joined with the administrative team, both Brian Seen and Hillary Pinkston from Clackamas Middle College, and Zoe Booth and Brad Lynn from Clackamas Web Academy, longtime members of our team here. Tonight, it's my pleasure to bring forward an agenda item. This is for discussion only. I'll talk through the steps here in just a moment of the whole process. So as you consider us as a school district, we are a school district that has a very broad portfolio of schools and school options for students and for families in our community. There's a number of ways that students attend a school outside of their neighborhood assigned school. Those include magnet schools, interdistrict transfers, and then tonight, public charter schools is the method we're discussing. So tonight we're focused on the renewal requests for 2 of our charter schools. In Oregon, charter schools are free public schools, and North Clackamas currently sponsors 4: Milwaukee Academy of the Arts, Cascade Heights Public Charter School, Clackamas Middle College, and Clackamas Web Academy. This board and this school district serve as the sponsor for these schools. In Oregon, public charter schools are sponsored by school districts in most cases, an educational institution, and the 4 that I mentioned are sponsored here by North Clackamas. The 2 who are present tonight have contracts with us and sponsorship through June 30th of 2025. The 2 charter schools share a single common board and, as required by law, have brought forward to us a renewal request in a timely fashion. Thank you all for that. Much appreciated. So, what's the process for renewing or considering a charter school renewal? It's a 2-phase process. We are at the end of phase 1 right now. So phase 1 involved a school review, which I'll mention here in just a little bit. Then tonight is the superintendent's recommendation on those renewal requests, school presentations by each school, and then public hearings for both schools. Then coming back in February, scheduled action on those renewal requests. That is simply your statement of, do you want to continue sponsoring these 2 schools or not? As a school board, do they meet the statutory requirements and the policy requirements? Once that is established, and if you elect to continue sponsoring the schools, then we go into a contract discussion period where we really work through the contract for the next however many set number of years we establish that contract. So 2-phase process. Right now you're considering continuing sponsorship, not the specific characteristics of what that sponsorship looks like. So tonight, I am presenting to you the superintendent's recommendation, which is to approve the request for renewal of Clackamas Middle College and of Clackamas Web Academy's sponsorship. In addition to our ongoing charter school review and oversight protocols, North Clackamas School District conducted a program review of each school. The reviews included site visitations, classroom observations, a charter school board meeting observation, campus-wide observations, interviews of students, interviews of parents, teachers, counselors, support staff, and the school administrators at both schools. Also, publicly available assessment data and other school-related documents were reviewed to ascertain the following, to assess in the following 3 areas: academic performance, organizational performance, and financial performance. A summary of the findings for each school is provided in your board packet, and I'm pleased to report that based on that information, CMC, Clackamas Middle College, and CWA, Clackamas Web Academy, are operating substantially in accordance with applicable state and federal law, in compliance with the existing charter agreement, maintaining financial stability and sound financial management. And with that, you'll see the superintendent's recommendation there on the board. We are not seeking your action tonight. Instead, we'll have each school give a presentation. This is a presentation of their own design to talk about their own programs. And of course, you'll have opportunity for question or discussion at the chair's leisure. Once that closes, then we'll go into a formal session of 2 public hearings, and we'll walk through that together. We're starting with Clackamas Middle College. Brian Seen. Down is up, I think.
Down is up. All right.
I think down is up, but I may have just led you astray.
Well, thank you guys for having us, all of you for having us. This is great to be here. It's always good to touch base with North Clackamas School District and the board of directors. We always had that choice of 10 years or 5 years renewal. And I'm like, in 10 years, everybody might be different. So it's cool every 5 years to get to know people and to share our school. And that's what we're going to try to do, is share kind of what we're about real quick, talk about what we're focused on and what we're working on, and then just share with you some of our accomplishments over the last 5 years. So the bridge in the future, the transition from high school to college, from high school to college, there's a huge gap there in institutions, and we try to build that bridge to get kids over that while they're in high school. So when they leave us, they're able to do this on their own. So when you see the I Am College, we're really proud of that they're actually doing the college while they're with us. And we feel good about when they leave us, they're in good hands and they know what they need to do. So yeah, that's the first one. Quick facts, if you know or don't know, obviously we're located and sponsored by the North Clackamas School District. Our enrollment is at 300 students, grades 9 through 12, accredited by Cognia. We're just going through the accreditation process, and I think 2 weeks we're going to be presenting to them our findings. And then extracurricular activities, kids can participate at their boundary high schools, and then the college credits and transfer degrees are big for us. And so I want to make sure that we're supporting that, whether they stay in state or go out of state. And then we give them an award for tuition and fees and books. So those are things that we do to help them out. We couldn't do what we're doing without being part of North Clackamas and our collaboration with North Clackamas and the people in North Clackamas, the people at Clackamas Community College, and then our little vessel of 300 students really shines with the partnership and collaboration of that community. Our mission we take very seriously, and I'll talk about kind of how we craft that as a community, but the big piece is inclusivity, safety, support. We want to make sure that the respect is there, obviously, high expectations for the college piece. We want to make sure that we're student-centered and we're reacting to individual student needs. And the big piece of it is preparing independent learners. And we work with our kids on that. And we've gauged their success with that. And then hopefully when they leave us, they're going into a pathway that's going to work for them. And they're happy with that. And then our goals, we can't do our mission without our goals. Obviously, it kind of echoes a lot of that, but on an individual daily basis, you can see that. I don't necessarily need to read it all, but we're really trying to use those goals to prop up our vision, because without our goals, we can't do that. So that is that. Just an overview of our program. As you probably are well aware, you can't take a high school kid and throw them on a college campus and say, go, and they're going to be successful. So there's a scaffolding and a lot of steps that we have to put in place to make sure that we can do that. So that little one block, most of our students enter us. That's our college prep program, and that's in our 82nd Avenue building. We offer our core high school classes and then a college readiness seminar that we'll go into a little bit more on how we prep them for college. When they start making that move to college, the number 2 is that bridge. They're not yet fully into college, but they're taking college classes at the Harmony campus and doing all of that stuff. And they can pick one of 2 paths, the transfer or career technical, and Hillary will go into that in a little bit. And then once they get through the year on number 2, then they go up to 3, which is our college extended option. And that's they're pursuing their transfer degree or work certificate on their own, either up at the Oregon City campus or at the Harmony campus.
Our college prep is our first step for any student that is enrolling at CMC, whether that is a freshman coming straight from middle school or a student transferring us from another school, another high school. They often start in our college prep program, and this consists of core high school classes that assess students' college readiness skills. We have a advisory called College Readiness Seminar, and it serves as a grade level advisory to build upon those college readiness skills. And students can self-nominate for our Pathways to College program based off on their individual level and where they're at in terms of college readiness. And then they're selected by teachers to enter the Pathways program. Our college readiness seminar is key. It helps prepare independent learners. There are 5 different areas that we focus on in CRS for college readiness, and that's time management, persistence, engagement, organization, and respect. CRS advisors identify and build on these skills so that students are ready to enter college when they enter our Pathways program. A letter grade of a D or an F in our college prep program indicates that independent learning has not been reached yet, and there's still area for growth. And students also need to be on track to graduate in order to be considered for our Pathways to College program. Engagement is also a big consideration when students are asking to be nominated for our Pathways to College program. And that's because if they miss 6 or more classes per term, then they are not eligible to go to the Pathways to College program, we do take into account extenuating circumstances, illness or a death in the family or anything like that. So we do take individual situations into account when it comes to engagement. I kind of talked about this already. These are the 5 areas that we focus on in our advisory class and throughout our college prep program. Engagement, organization, time management, persistence, and respect. We have identified these 5 core areas because they're skills that students are going to need post high school. They're skills that students are going to need in whatever college or career that they choose, and it'll help them throughout their life. And so throughout their time in the college prep program, they're able to self-identify where they're at, as well as areas that they need to improve in throughout the term. Here are a couple pictures of our cohorts in our Pathways to College program. Like I said earlier, we have a transfer program and a career tech program, and I'll go into that right now. So after students apply to our Pathways to College program, they get to pick either the career tech side or the transfer side. The career tech side is open to juniors and seniors who are interested in a certificate program, and it consists of career, foundation, and elective courses. It builds on employable skills and job-related training, and often comes with some type of industry-recognized certification. And it is a prereq to our CEO program. Our Pathways to College transfer side of things is designed for students who are interested in going to a 4-year university after high school. And this is a year-long program that prepares students academically and socially for college culture. Oftentimes it's entry-level classes that are only for CMC students taught at the CCC campus, the Harmony campus, by a CCC instructor. So it's kind of like a cohort that they can take a college class with the support of CCC and CMC. And students receive dual high school and college credit for these Pathways classes. Books and tuition are paid for by CMC, and again, it's a prerequisite for our CEO program.
So the goals of the program are there's 5 of them there, and it obviously is ingrained in our mission and vision. But that dual high school and college credit is key for us to be able to do what we do. We really want to provide the guidance and support to students. So we have 3 counselors for 300 kids, which really allows them to go in deep with students and their parents and create an educational plan that's unique to them. The course offerings, because we're a small school, we really utilize the CCC campus and their offerings. And so we scaffold kids up to those when they're ready for that. And then the college readiness skills and what we do with college readiness is big. And that's a key point to getting them ready for success after. And then the equity for me is the biggest one because there are so many barriers to college access for kids, systemic barriers such as socioeconomic status, poor schooling. Kids get into classes and they take remedial classes when they go to college, or they take classes and they fail and they drop out. So those are barriers. The equity access, obviously, is there's some disparities among low-income and minority students to get into college. So we want to make sure that we're bridging the gap for those. And also to make sure that the high schools and college, our programs align, not only with what we are trying to do, but our curriculum and our expectations, and making sure that we're one with the college so that when kids make that step, it's not a big step for them. And then that support system, making sure that we're supporting kids while they're making that transition, because that's a huge transition for them to make. And then obviously, we want to make sure that we're really improving our college readiness and doing everything we can with our resources, and kind of a policy piece on that, but just the equity piece just to remove those barriers. And there's a lot of barriers there. So we're really trying to take all those things away, and those 5 goals really kind of drive making sure that we do that successfully for kids. And then this is the coup de grace. You want to start at 1, you want to get to 3, right? And the way most of our kids do that, we really try to encourage students to enroll with us when they're freshmen, because when they come to us when they're a freshman, we have 4 years to really work with them and get them up to that CEO. Sometimes we have kids transfer to us as a senior. Sometimes they do it as a junior or sophomore. We're a public charter school, so we get kids when they come to us and when we have openings. So the kids that don't get as many college credits are the ones that usually transfer to us later. The ones that do get more, the ones that are with us for a while, and we can build upon that success that they have in high school and transition them to college, and then hopefully that success out in the real world after us. So what's happening here? This is our focus for this year, and then it obviously carried over a little bit from last year, and then may go into next year. But the big thing for us is, as every school should have, is the safety piece. We were just able to undergo about a 2.5 year process of buying our building through a municipality bond, and that allowed us to really secure our campus, because the data that our families and our students were like, we want a secure, safe campus. As you can imagine, on 82nd Avenue, it's the busiest road in the state of Oregon. So you get a lot of interesting people come through there. And we didn't have necessarily the resources to provide the safety that we needed to, but now that we bought our building, we just got our roof done. We're getting a security fence. We had that put up a couple weeks ago. We're getting gates on that now. We're going to get a buzz in, buzz out system. It's going to be a lockdown, nice, safe environment, but it's not going to be too overdone where they feel like they're in a prison or anything. But it's really going to just keep them safe from that 82nd Avenue piece. We're also going to get our HVAC system done in a couple weeks, and then we had all new lighting in our building, and then hopefully we can expand to our upstairs, which is now storage, into more classrooms and offices. So that safety piece is big, and we're moving on that and focused on that. Now that we have the resources to help us do that, we're gonna hit that. Our culture is another one. When I talked about our mission and our vision and our goals, we create those from all of our community. It's based on our shared values and beliefs. That's one way we get buy-in from kids, and we get accountability from kids, because we all are in this together. So from our staff to our families to our kids, we do this every 3 years, and then every year for kids, we get their core values and beliefs and figure out where they fit into our mission, and then we do that. So that helps our culture a lot, and we're doing a lot of things around those culture pieces to make sure that our community is a lot better. Before our last renewal was in 2019, and then the lights went out for about 5, and so 6 years later, we're here, and that culture piece is really, really important for us to focus on, because the culture of schools has changed so much since our last renewal that's our big focus now. Belonging and peer collaboration and relationships, I'll let Hillary talk about that, because she's a key component of that.
We are committed to supporting the whole student, addressing all aspects of their needs, which include academic, social, emotional, and physical needs. We have a multi-tiered level of support, which includes our academic planning, our student academic planning, care team, and counseling team. Each one of those teams meet weekly to discuss all the students and making sure that we have a plan moving forward on how we're going to support them. We also partner with LifeStance to make sure that students have access to a mental health therapist if they need one. More recently, we have developed what we call Care and Connection Day, where we start each term by grounding ourselves in our mission and vision, and help students set up the term for success. Each term, our Care and Connection Day has a specific focus. We just started a new term last week, and so Monday, our focus was on students' physical and mental health, and in the spring, our Care and Connection Day will focus on digital citizenship. The next one of an area of improvement is our personalized programs. I talked a little bit about career technical and transfer program. Our career technical program, we just started getting up and running post-pandemic. And so we are constantly looking at our programs and making sure that we're meeting all the students' needs and all of their interests for post-secondary education. We also use a program called Zello, and this is particularly important for our CRS, our advisory, because that's where teachers can create lessons where students can dive deep into career interests that they have and look at colleges that they might be interested in, different career paths, and how to obtain their goals for after high school.
And here's some accomplishments now that we talked about what we're focusing on. Our state testing data is on the left from 2018 till presently in English language arts and math with 19 to 21 year as an NA because they weren't necessarily requiring that or we didn't do them. And then the youth truth data, we've been doing youth truth since 2018, which is really nice because it's a survey of our families, our kids, our staff. And those are the themes that were the highest for us, and those are ranked nationally, which is cool. So our culture in 2018-19 was at 81%. In 1920, we were at college and career readiness was our highest at 86%. And then 2021, our culture was at 94%. And then 2021-22 was culture again at 87. And then academic rigor and challenge, 86%. And then we were really happy because we focused and retooled ourselves around college and career readiness after the pandemic. And I think we're at a 91% nationally. So that's really good feedback from our families and students on whether we're hitting the mark of our mission. And then our graduation data is on the right, and we're doing fairly well with that. So we'll keep our eyes on those gauges at all times to make sure that we're doing well for our kids. Our community data, this is kind of cool to see. This is some of our data from our staff and families. You can see our staff feels like 96% of them feel like students are getting a high quality education. How often do students, we really tried to focus on collaborative learning the last 3 or 4 years, and you can see students work with each other a lot. And then the 95th percentile, high expectations our staff has with our mission and vision at 95%, and then school goals at 91%. And then I feel like my work contributes to the goals of the school. So there's a real connection with our staff. And then our families are really happy with what we're doing with our kids and their kids. We have the proper resources necessary at 97th percentile nationally, which is really great. So we're taking the money and really investing it in the kids, and the families really like that. We provide guidance for college and career readiness at 92%. And then the mission, our families are bought into it because they're part of it at 90%. And then my child is getting a high quality education, which is a great thing. That's what you want parents to say about their kid at 90%. And then this is the coup de grace at the end of graduates. This is our last year's graduating class. This shows, since I've been keeping data from 2009 with the school till now, we've almost got to that 80,000 credits. So if you come to our graduation, we'll be topping that hopefully. And then it's about an average of 64 credits for each graduate. And then every one of our graduates is up there. We had 65 graduates last year, and you can see all of the stuff that they've done during their time with us. And so every one of those little podium deals represent students in our program, all of them since 2009. And you can see kind of the numbers and how many college credits they get. When you get to that 90 plus college credit, that's where that transfer degree is, and that's the kids. And we're really excited because we were really bolstering that early on, and now we're really excited to move and shift to the career tech and really make sure that that's a solid program for our kids. So that's basically us. Any questions, or is there questions after? Or?
I think we'll move forward with
Okay.
Web Academy if the chairs.
Thank you guys for listening. I appreciate it.
Down is up. Down is forward.
Members of the North Clackamas School District Board, Dr. Shay James, Tiffany Shireman, members of the exec team, thank you for the opportunity to present. We really do appreciate this. Clackamas Web Academy has been a choice school in this district since 2004. And fast forward to 2025, we have changed a lot. And so our presentation really is geared to share with you three things. Answer the question, who are we today in 2025? What are some of the goals and initiatives that we're working on today? And then share with you some data that we're really proud of. So who are we by the numbers? We just wanted to share with you some enrollment information. We do support public education grades K-12 in 3 distinct programs: an elementary program, middle school program, and a comprehensive high school program. And you can see over the last 4 years by the grade levels how many students have enrolled in our school. Because we are a charter school like CMC, we can enroll kids outside of the school district. So a question we respond to regularly, whether it's working with folks in district or at the state level, people kind of want to know, where do your kids come from? Well, as of this year, about 52%, 51.8% of our kids come to us just outside of North Clackamas, with 48% of our students coming within. And the map that we put up on the right, it's kind of rough, but it gives you an idea where a concentration of our student populations come from. Zoe, a little bit later, is going to talk about how our school is set up with services offered on-site, but also flexible learning opportunities from home. So it makes sense when we look at a map that most of the pins representing students in our school reside within a 35-mile radius of the greater Clackamas area, because we do ask that they come in regularly to do school. Just some demographic information I thought you guys might be interested. This is all public. This shows up on our at a glance report. But one of the things I think that we're most proud of as a school team is that we are becoming more diverse, which means the efforts that we're making at a school to reach the entire community, to make sure that they have information about our school and as a school option, our program is working. And one of the things I want to point out is when a student enrolls in our school, they are identified as a North Clackamas kiddo. So whether they reside outside of the school district or they come to us internally from the Milwaukee, Oak Grove area or Clackamas, greater Clackamas area, they are identified as a North Clackamas kid, as are our students who reside outside, which is awesome. Our staff members are represented by the different employee groups of the North Clackamas School District, and we take great pride in that. So for our teachers and for us as administrators, we have access to some great resources in-house, but we also have, because of this world that we work in charter and the uniqueness of our work working in an online organization, we oftentimes are seeking out learning opportunities at the state level and national level. So this graph just shows all the different places where we as a professional community are trying to learn and grow in this online arena. And I will say all the way to the far right, when you look at kind of this timeline that I'm presenting to you in terms of professional development, here shortly, we will be sending a team of middle school folks and high school folks, and we're proud of this, where we get to present at a national conference in Atlanta to talk about the work that we're doing to build agency with our students and families in an online setting. That's what we'll be doing. And before I turn it over to Zoe, I thought I would just share with you our mission. To really simplify this, when we talk to parents and students who enter our program, we tell our parents and students who are enrolling in our school for the first time, we want to know your child really, really, really well. We want to know their cultures, we want to know their values, and we want to use that as a source of strength to help them achieve their academic goals. And you'll notice that we say in our mission, we want our students to reach their full potential. We do, but we also recognize in order to do that, we need to challenge sometimes our students. And the best way where we think we can build capacity to challenge a student or challenge a family academically, socially, you name it, to reach their full potential is by making great relationships with families. And so by building that trust, we're able to do that. And so when Zoe's talking about how kids are accessing our school and the different programs that we've set aside to support student learning in our school, everything we create runs through this mission of doing that work.
Okay, I want to start by echoing Brad, and thank you all for giving us the opportunity to share about our school. We are really, sorry I'm not as loud as he. Thank you for giving us the opportunity. We really are proud of our students and everything they accomplish and our staff, and we're eager to share, and thank you for listening. So like Brad said, I'm going to share about how students access our school. We are a K-12, which is a unique experience all on its own, and online and on site. And so we do have curriculum that students have access to online. Our K-5 has a paper pencil component to every single online accompanied curriculum. So they are doing everything hands-on as well. Our Edgenuity supports our 6 through 12, and our Accelerate supports K-12. But again, at the K-5 level, they have an accompanying workbook for everything they do. And then we have like a very personalized program. And because of that, we have a lot of supplemental curriculums we use to support students at all levels. You know, if they need remediation, if they need acceleration, we provide that as well for families. And one thing I'm really proud of is the Learning Without Tears is all our kids are learning cursive. So I'm really proud of that. They're going to all learn how to write their names at least in cursive. So our students have synchronous opportunities every day to meet with teachers, advisors. At grades 6 through 12, we have synchronous, everything that's online in the curriculum. We have a teacher-led instruction synchronous weekly for all core classes. 6 to 12, we have academic support in all core classes. They can access their teacher live, like you see there through Google Meet. We have advisory meetings where the students can meet with their advisor. The families meet with the advisor. That they can choose to have online or on site. So like Brad shared, if a family for whatever reason, distance, medical, family, other commitments, meeting online is an option for families. And then we also have, for elementary, we have online Monday morning meeting like a traditional school where they, as a class, that kicks off the week. And they also have additional math instruction all week long online from their dedicated math teacher. And on to complement that, we have on-site opportunities for our students every day of the week. We have academic classes. Our K-5 students meet 3 days a week with their teacher on site with access to PE, math, and then their class. Our middle school has core classes on site every week along with community meetings and chess club and other activities. And then our high school has their core classes every week and academic support and enrichment classes, which are either like leadership or yearbook or forensic science. So elective opportunities. Along with that, we do want our students to have opportunities. It's extremely important in a blended learning that they have as many opportunities to connect with each other as possible. So we have, right there, you can see our leadership. We did a canned food drive. We have field trips. K-5, we try to go every month, every other month. Outdoor school. BizTown's coming up here in next month. Our first presentation of learning for the entire school will be in the next couple weeks. We have dance, game nights. So our students have a lot of opportunities if they choose to come on site and connect with each other and their teacher in person. If that isn't physically possible, they have the online. So it works really well for families that need the options. Also, on top of all that, they can have the opportunity to access college. So our juniors are all taking the Youth Take Action, and that's where they donate 40 hours in their community to a nonprofit. Students can also take the C2A Plus College, where they just choose to take a class or two that we pay for. Writing 121 and Writing 122 is similar to CMC, where we have a cohort of our own students that are taught at CCC, but they're CWA students in our own cohort. And then lastly, again, when they are ready and choose to, students can enter our early college option program where they do all of their classes full-time on site at either CCC or OIT. We have a partnership with PCC, the community college that works for them. And at any given term, we have roughly 33% of our high school students taking an in-person college class. And lastly, to connect, because you see there's a lot of options for families and a lot of ways to access learning, different curriculums and different options. Every single student in our school is assigned an advisor. That's the first thing when they enroll, they're immediately assigned an advisor, and that person connects them to all things CWA. They meet with that family, so parent and student, every other week, check their academic progress, make sure they have all the up-to-date information about what the options are, when to sign up for things, what upcoming activities there are. And also they're the person that connects them to whoever they need to be connected to, the counselor, the secretary, gets them to the academic support they need. But we are really proud of our, they have that one person. So that advisor is their person because there's a lot. That is the person they go to, and that's their go-to that connects them to everything. So they don't have to worry about who should I call? I don't know who to call, I don't know who to ask, I can't find it. And we're really proud of that. As a parent, I know how important communication is with a school, and it is not always the easiest thing to do. So our parents are have constant communication through the advisor, the teacher. They are in the loop at all times, advocating for their student and being listened to. And we work very, very closely with our parents, and that's the role of the advisor.
Can you guys hear me? So what are we working on? Right now, we are year 3 in our 5-year strategic plan.
And this plan really has a bunch of different goals and aims that we've connected with different measures that we're looking to see if we're achieving those goals and aims. But when you look at what we pointed out as being important, and when I say we, it's stakeholders in our school, students, parents, staff members, members of the North Clackamas School District, looking at foundational documents like the 5-year strategic plan that is authorized here, but also looking at grants that we're accessing like the High School Success Grant. When we look at all those different objectives and goals, all those things have influenced the creation of this for us. This is our compass. And it's really broken up into 4 parts. One being student success, the second one being equity, the third part being developing strong academic programs, because that is important. That is our mission. But fourthly, stewardship. We are granted a lot of different resources given to us by the state of Oregon, but also that we have access to in North Clackamas, and we want to make sure that we're maximizing those resources that are coming in. All that to be said, year 3, our school improvement plan goals, we really have 3 of them. And yes, this is featured. If you were to look at our school improvement plan, you would see these goals come up here. But if you also looked at our teacher student growth goals, we all share in these in some capacity. And so our first goal is always trying to improve our 4-year graduation cohort rate. And I'm proud to say that we are doing that. And shortly, I'll show you some data to show some growth over time. But we still want to build upon that success. And this year, we're looking to increase it even more. A second aim that we have really deals with advisory. Zoe talked about all the different creative ways in which kids can access their school, but advisory is the glue that kind of holds everything together. So we recognize that it's important that kids and families are accessing that. So we have an attendance goal on both fronts, tracking student attendance in that and parent attendance on that to make sure that we're holding all of us accountable to the efforts of our students. And thirdly, we want our kids to learn skills. I know Brian, one of the successes he pointed out was student success on the SBOC exam or the state exam. It's not perfect, but it's a measure that we can look at student cohorts over time who've taken it to see if we're making gains or improvements. But we also can take that data and compare it to other district schools and state schools. And that just gives us another measure to where when we're having department meetings, we can, look at what's going on and make adaptations accordingly. So what are we proud of? Data, stuff that you might, we're proud of it. I'm hoping that you'll be proud of it as well. But oddly enough, in 2007, Brian, when we first sat here in front of the North Clackamas School Board for our first renewal? 2005. Yeah, but 2007. At that time, I've said this story before, but CWA posted a really gross 20% 4-year cohort graduation rate. And it was awful, but we owned it. There were some things in that we learned about ourselves, and we learned about our students, and we learned about our model. But the challenge was at that time by the superintendent, it's been the challenge ever since, and we embraced the challenge to improve that number. And so when you look at our 4-year cohort graduation rate over the last 5 years, we think we have. And what's not shown there, because it's not public, but in a couple of weeks it will be, there could be some slight changes to it, but we believe we're going to show yet more gain in that work, in the higher 80 percentile. So we're really proud of that. And when you look at those numbers, that is the flat all school cohort graduation rate. And then look at all populations of students and families that attend our school, you can see where there's wins in the data in other places as well, as represented in this slide.
And this is our state testing data, and we're really proud of our, we regularly score very well on LA and science, and we know there's some work to be done in math, which is near and dear to my heart. So believe me, we're working on it. Okay. But we're proud of our, of the fact that we are continually improving. Where we're looking, and we constantly look at data year after year to see where we can make improvements. And that's our current OSAS data. And this year, we're very proud of our PSAT scores. They topped the United States, the Oregon scores. So we're really proud of these scores. I'm proud of our students for working hard and performing well.
College credit earned. One of the things I think you saw, and I passed through it really quickly, and I didn't give you any context of what you're looking at. I'm looking around, some of the board members in front of us celebrated in graduation with us just last spring, which was amazing. But last year's graduating group was the largest graduating class in our school's history, 110 students in total, which was huge for us. And collectively last year, they earned over 2,200 college credits. We're really proud of that. And we're also proud of the fact that when CWA students try college out, some of them choose to pursue college and university work even further. And these are some of the prestigious colleges and universities that our students have attended and are currently attending.
And then our youth truth survey, historically, every single year, we're very, very, very strong in relationships, which is like he's the glue to our school. The advisor is the key to our school, working with all the different grade levels and options for learning. So we're really proud of that our families really, really appreciate the relationships the students build with the staff. And then our YTA, our junior seniors that take the Youth Take Action class and donate. Last year they donated over 4,000 hours in our community to nonprofit. And not only is that great for our community, but it's a great learning experience for them. Some of it's life-changing. So that is a really good opportunity for them.
And I've said this to Petra in our confer, and I've also said this to other folks who have listened. I think this is a win for North Clackamas too, because not only these projects that they're involved in benefiting from their hours, but they're also representing the school district, because again, these are North Clackamas kiddos representing their faces and representing our organization in the work. And then finally, we're very proud of our partnerships because if you are going to try to provide learning opportunities of high quality online, on-site, in the community, you have to have good partners. And at the far top left-hand corner, partner one that we raise up and celebrate is our partnership with North Clackamas. And so when you come into our school, you'll see this wall. This is actually a picture of one of the walls in our high school wing, and you'll see North Clackamas is listed one.
Board Chair, that brings to conclusion the two school presentations as well as the superintendent's recommendation and staff report on the topic. Of course, it's open for discussion or questions. We're available. And then once that's finished, I'll walk you through the next steps.
Great. Thank you so much. This was really great information, and I just really appreciate the work that you and your team put together to really get us up to speed and informing our board of all of the great work and progress, and also programs that are available through your schools. So thank you. I wanted to leave some time for board if you have any specific questions to the panel. I have one, and so I'm happy to just kick that off while folks are still maybe looking through notes. But for the Clackamas Web Academy, you stressed the importance of the relationships, and that really stands out to me, and specifically through the advising staff. So can you explain a little bit, because are the advisors like school counselors, as like we would kind of see it, or are they not like school counselors? I guess I'm just trying to understand more of what the advising role is, because they sound great.
That's a great question. No, our advisors complement counseling. We still, again, right now we have 560 students, and we have 3 folks who are counselors supporting those efforts through their department. But every other staff member, certified teacher, and we have some instructional assistants that we've hired, support the role of advisor. So a high school teacher, for example, supporting science, will grade in science and develop really engaging learning lesson plans online and on-site in science. But part of their job is to support up to 24 students and their families in this advising role. And this person usually is skilled to run all our online programs. So if families have questions about technology, the advisor can serve to support that. If the family has questions about meeting with their counselor or setting up tutoring with their language arts teacher, the advisor can help them write that email or contact that colleague to set that all up. Or if there are things that are coming up that really they only really trust the advisor, or they'll trust the advisor to communicate to the team, and they don't really feel comfortable maybe sharing it to another colleague, that advisor can serve as the spokesperson for the family or that team unit to bring information to the team so that we can surround that family with the resources they need or give them the information that they need to be most productive in our school.
Thank you for explaining that. I mean, they sound like they're just wonderful professionals who, like advocate for our students, but also are there to really, build those trusting adult, student relationships that sometimes a lot of our kids need, is just to have that one person that they can go to, at school, or, someone who's there to also connect them and their families with resources. And so thank you for explaining that. I was just trying to understand the different pieces that they play. Great. Okay, Director Bauer.
Thank you, Chair Wei. It's great having these choices, and I even hear, I was visiting a PTA not too long ago, it was in elementary, and they said, I wish we had some other choices and my kid could learn online. I said, wow, you need to go on our website and here's these other schools. I mean, parents and Sabin's, Schellenberg too, is something still a lot of people don't know about. So I was also looking at some of your data, and your 5-year graduation rate is really high too, and it's increased for both of you. So maybe one went down 1%, but they're in the 90s. So you don't give up on kids, right?
No.
Yeah,
no.
and that's what I say too. That's what I love about our district. We have so many options. We don't give up on them. They're all, we need to meet their needs where they are. So it sounds like you figured a lot of good things out for support. Is this, it looks like too, I don't remember hearing as much about CTE and the technical side of both. Is that a little new, or did I just miss it 5 years ago?
For us, we did we didn't necessarily pilot it, but we had a smattering of survey courses that kids, when they got to college or college classes, we did like a survey in auto mechanics, and they did a little bit of this, a little bit of that every 2 weeks to give them a feel for what that was like, and then we switched that every term. But we really didn't fully go into a pilot until right after the pandemic, when CCC was recreating their pathways to education. We wanted to make sure that we were streamlined with them. So, because their offerings are our offerings, and we wanted to make sure we were speaking the same language. And also because after the pandemic, a lot of kids weren't as interested in the transfer degree as they were into the apprenticeship, working with their hands, getting involved right away. So we're like, well, you know what? We did it for one, let's do it for the other. And we just want to make sure that any kid that comes into our doors, they have an option based on what their aspirations are, and then we can plug them into one of the programs that they want to go into. So that's been new recently in the last 2 or 3 years. We've been piloting it, but we had a little run at it before in our last renewal in like 2019, but it's come a long way.
Well, it's great too that you provide tuition and books too. That's another barrier for so many. So do you ever partner with Sabin Schellenberg, or is it more with Clackamas Community College and their apprenticeship? And
it's mostly for us. It's Clackamas Community College because we are on the trimester system, so we go 3 terms, and so it makes more sense to align with them. And plus, our schedule isn't on a block schedule like North Clackamas School District is, so we have classes every day. So the schedules don't fit, which is okay because Clackamas Community College has a lot of offerings too. But if we did have the same terms and schedule, we probably would partner with Sabin a lot more than we have.
So is the transportation a barrier too, or is it they just catch a bus and?
Well, yeah, we started with busing to get them up to the Oregon City campus when we were up there at the time, but now we have shuttles running. Clackamas Community College has shuttles running, and then so we're covered as far as that goes. So we're trying to get all those barriers because transportation is a big one.
Oh, great.
And also with the buses, students can access the bus before school and after school from their home high school if they are boundary students. So they do get a shuttle just like they would to Sabin Schellenberg from their home high school. They can ride a school bus to their home high school and then catch a shuttle to us.
Okay, well, thank you. I think that's all I had. Great work.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, Director Dobson.
Hi, guys. Thanks so much for all of this information. And as Chair Way said, for all of your hard work and sitting here. So I don't think I've seen Brian sit still for this long ever. So I just wanted to chime in. Every time you show up here, it's an opportunity for me to just testify to the value that you provide the community, the flexibility and the engagement, the advisory model that Chair Way rightly pointed out is, it's really amazing. And one thing that they didn't mention to you is that with the looping, the students have their teachers for multiple years, so they have their advisor for multiple years, which really allows that, base relationship to, to grow. And lets the students get even more out of it. I just want to lift you up and congratulate you on all of the progress that you've made in recovering from, the pandemic. I know you had a different struggle than other schools. It was after COVID and schools went back into session that they had a dip in their enrollment and have been, climbing back out ever since then. But the programming that you provide for students, and again, the flexibility for everything from, a medically fragile student to a student who's dealing with anxiety or on the autism spectrum, or who just is not thriving for whatever reason in a traditional brick and mortar school building, can find a home in your schools and thrive there. We had that experience ourselves. Our kiddo, who's now a junior at Adrian St. Elson High School, would never have made it through the middle school years without CWA. So I just want to put that up there. It's really good work that you're doing, and I really appreciate everything you bring to the table. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Director Dobson. Vice Chair Benaloga?
Yes, thank you. And thank you. You all know how much I love attending your graduations.
Yeah.
I love hearing it. Aside from spending time with students and in classrooms and on committees, I love graduations. They're just my favorite. So I do have a question for you, Brian, and maybe this is something, and obviously you're not going to have this up top of your head, but I was asking, and thank you for the information that the executive team got me ahead of time, just because I did have some questions. You did mention that for some of those kiddos that are graduating with the lower end of credits, it may be because they weren't with us the whole time. Is there any way, first of all, what are the other barriers to getting college credit? And secondly, can we get data showing the credits earned if they're there for you for 4, 3, 2, and then 1 year? I mean, not off the top of your head, but just eventually.
I think we can work on that. And,
Okay.
and the barriers to college credit, I went over the barriers to college access, which a lot of those applied to the college credit. So I would say that that's probably the same, but it would be interesting to see what kids, if they're here for a year, how many credits do they get? But that graduating class that we showed on the slide at the very end, it has really great data on every one of those kids has taken and passed at least one math course, science course, social studies course, whatever, in college. And there's been more than that. So it was just the bare bones of that, so that the percentages are actually really higher in actuality. But it would be interesting, and we'll probably start gathering that data. The hard thing about the data with our schools is you have to kind of got to do it yourself, right? Because there's you just got to, okay, college credits, we got to start tallying that, because all the systems that we're connecting with, it doesn't do it all together. So that would be a good one. And I think we're at a point right now after our history of whatever, 25 years or so, that we can actually probably start looking at that. So that's probably a good one to do.
Yeah, I would appreciate that. I'm on a youth committee with some of your students.
Yeah.
And I've been sitting at a table with them. I sat at a table with them in December. Just interesting to just hear their perspective. And they were teaching me kind of about the pathways and how they apply for it. So it was very interesting. It was great to learn directly from your students. I think Director Dobson had alluded to, does the advisor follow them? I think this is a CWA. Do they follow them for all of their grades, or can they, or no? but for multiple years.
Advisory's taken on a lot of different iterations. When we first opened up, the advisor would can stay connected to the family, and a lot of that was because at that time we were the Oregon Web Academy, and we had kids throughout the entire state. So regionally, we were connecting professionals based on where they were willing to drive and go, and that's how we made those matches. But now that we're more centralized in terms of geography and its connection to CWA, it's really based on grade level and need. So we have elementary advisors working with kids, and when they transition to middle school, they're there and introduced to their new middle school advisor, and they stay with them for 3 years. And then when they go to high school, we move them on and transition to a high school advisor and teaching team.
Okay, excellent. Thank you for that. And I do have a quick question too about your ninth grade on track, which I think both schools need to be really proud of the numbers. It's because that's equating to student success, and that's equating to families that are also feeling successful. I think that just says so much about your programs. What strategies do you have to work on your ninth grade on track to graduate? Which you did improve by 2%, but what are your strategies to improve that even further?
I think it's taking advantage of all the resources that are available. I mean, I'm really proud of the growth that we're making with our ninth graders, but more so than that, if you look at the starting point of our ninth graders in terms of earning 6 credits year one, and then our graduation rate in 4 years, in that 3 years times, a lot of times with kids, a lot of times coming to us behind credit deficient.
Right.
The fact that we're able to take advantage of all the opportunities in our district and the opportunities that we're creating in our school, I think has been very helpful. So when you're asking me what one strategy, it's really the advisor building trust with the family, our counselors developing that 4-year plan with the family, which includes, all right, you're credit deficient as a ninth grader, but your 10th grade year and your 11th grade year based on this plan that we're building right now, and it's flexible, it can move a little bit, but based on this plan, this is where you're gonna build credit where you're deficient, and by year 12, 4 years, you're gonna graduate. That's the plan for you. And our counselors are fully committed to that, as our advisors. They stand part in that meeting, and I think there's really value to be had with that.
Excellent. Thank you for that. And then just a quick question just about capacity. Are you turning are either one of your charter schools turning students away? Are you at capacity? Or are you over capacity?
For us, we have about 30 students on a wait list right now. Most of the kids interested in our program are interested in our high school program, but we do have a handful of kids that are interested in middle school, which is also full.
And do North Clackamas students take priority?
Yes.
Okay.
They do.
Okay.
Yeah, and we were at 220 during the pandemic, so we were really, really low, and we were like, where's everybody going? And then trying to buy the building, we needed the students to show that we were doing it. So we really put a lot of work to get our numbers back up, and so we're at 300 right now, which is nice because April knows that we were down really, really low. I was like, what are we going to do with this? Like all schools were, but right now we're not turning anybody away. We're just still trying to build to where we need to be. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you so much for all the information and for the presentation and for just all the hard work that you put in to getting our kids to have them be successful and giving our students and families a real opportunity at an educational model that is going to work for them. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Great. Yes, great questions by the board. And thank you again for being here, providing information, and just being such great partners to us in our district. I will now turn it back to Chief of Staff Shireman for next steps.
So our next steps are going to be here in just a moment. We'll go ahead and vacate here at the presentation board, and then you'll move forward with the public hearings. You have a script for that, I think, Chair.
Yep.
One hearing for each school. And then we will bring back for your action at the February 13 meeting the proposed renewal of each school.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. Okay. And so I do have a script that I will read for the public hearing. So next, excuse me, next on the agenda is Clackamas Middle College Charter Renewal Public Hearing. On December 17, 2024, the Clackamas Charter Alliance provided North Clackamas School District with a request for a charter renewal for Clackamas Middle College. As per ORS 338.065, the North Clackamas School Board shall hold a public hearing regarding this request for charter renewal. Time is set aside at this time for a public hearing to address the Clackamas Middle School charter renewal. And now I will open the public hearing. And we have not received any requests to speak at this hearing, so now this hearing is closed. Okay. And we're going to move on to our next agenda item. So next on the agenda is the Clackamas Web Academy Charter Renewal Public Hearing. On December 17, 2024, the Clackamas Charter Alliance provided North Clackamas School District with a request for a charter renewal for Clackamas Web Academy. As per ORS 338.065, the North Clackamas School Board shall hold a public hearing regarding this request for charter renewal. Time is set aside at this time for a public hearing to address the Clackamas Web Academy renewal. I open the public hearing now. We have not received any requests to speak, so now the hearing is closed. And this brings me to my last item, which is adjournment of our school board meeting. So before we officially close out, I just want to share a quote in honor of February being the recognition of Black and African American History Month. This was a quote by Assata Shakur, who is just a phenomenal civil rights leader. She's an activist and just someone whose words just really grounds me in the moment that we're in, and also as we're heading into 2025. So she says, "It is our duty to fight for our freedom. It is our duty to win. We must love each other and support each other. We have nothing to lose but our chains." With that being said, it is now 8:26 p.m. and this public meeting of the North Clackamas School District Board of Directors is adjourned.